Okay, so I'm Karen Ranzi, and I am the author of a book called Creating Healthy Children Through Attachment Parenting and Raw Foods. It's almost 500 pages, the book, and many parents have told me that they feel it's the most comprehensive book on raising truly healthy families in a world where, especially in Western societies, we're experiencing a lot of disease and a lot of problems in living, daily living. And so I put together this book as a process of my own learning and my own research over the years of studying raw food nutrition. I was able to heal my son in 1994 as he was 3 years old, after the first 3 years of his life having severe asthma, chronic ear infections, and multiple food allergies. And he was a very sick child. We almost lost him 2 times.
How old is he now?
Now he's 23.
Okay.
And when we went to raw food nutrition when he was 3 years old, and he healed in about 11 months, it never came back again.
Did you start because him with raw food?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I started with him in 1994 because his recovery from these illnesses was so dramatic that it spoke to me. It made sense to me. And I stayed with it for almost 2 decades now.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And absolutely, it's very important because there are a lot of mothers full of fear about what to do and how to do it. And like the medical system is in some way against what we are doing.
Yes.
Then it's very important to have people like you.
But it's interesting, though, that in my area, northeastern United States, there are more and more doctors who are seeing the benefits. I even have doctors referring their patients to me, which is interesting. They will see them for diagnostics, for testing, and then for nutrition. Their doctors are referring their patients to me. So it's exciting that there is progress in people's understanding that fruits and vegetables have all the nutrient density.
Yes, yes. And what about children? Is raw food good for children?
There are some people, even in the raw food movement, who don't believe that children should be raised on raw food, and that's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Because, I mean, I saw it clearly myself that my son, and we were already vegetarian, so, but you know, you could be vegetarian not eating vegetables or fruit and just living on potato chips. So we weren't eating very healthy. And getting the vitamins from the fruit and the calories from the fruit and the vitamins, the minerals, and the protein from the green vegetables was what did the healing for my son. Lots of green juices and green smoothies and fruit and vegetables. And for snacks, we would make like a big bowl of fruit. And some people say, oh, it's so complicated, it's so time-consuming. It's not time-consuming at all. Just grab some apples, make a big bowl of beautiful, colorful berries. And so my children really grew up eating all of this multitude of different variety of fruits and vegetables. And when we would go to the farmer's market or when we would go to the health food store, I would tell them, get a fruit and a vegetable for every color of the rainbow. And that way they would be getting in all of the various nutrients, because all of the colors of all the different fruits and vegetables have all of the nutrients that we need. And getting it from a supplement is not going to be the same as getting it from the fresh fruit as it is. The supplements are made from those foods. Of course.
And how do you do the shift from breast feed to the raw food.
Okay, so how do you move from breastfeeding to raw foods?
Yes.
Okay. Well, breast milk is the first food for babies. It definitely is the food that we're meant to give our children, and mothers should be nursing their babies until the babies want to be weaned, not when the mothers think that the babies should be weaned. If you want to have a fully developed, fully emotionally aware, well-adjusted child, then the benefits of mother's milk is excellent both for the physical development and the emotional, mental, and spiritual development, because the baby is near the mother, on the mother's skin. There's a lot of skin-to-skin contact, and that reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases the love hormone, oxytocin.
Wow.
And that's what we want our children to have, is a lot of oxytocin. And so I urge mothers to nurse your children as long as they want to be nursed. Don't feel that you need to...
There is no one specific age
to
stop with that.
No. Some babies want to nurse longer and some babies not so long.
But around...
At least 2 years.
Okay.
I recommend at least 2 years, but I also say to women, do the best you can. Do the best you can. If it's 1 year and that's the best you can, then at least the baby got all those wonderful nutrients the first year and doesn't have to have another form of milk.
Okay.
There's no other animal in nature that nurses from a different species. They all nurse from their own mother. So there was recently an article on a mainstream newspaper that said right on the front cover, cow milk formula increases obesity or causes obesity.
Absolutely.
And you know, you're talking about feeding a calf and turning a calf into a 1,000-pound animal. And that's what we're doing in many of our societies. We're creating these obese people.
Yeah. And then how do you do the transition to raw food?
Mm-hmm.
Can they eat everything?
No. They really need to go first to ripe, organic, if organic is available, fresh fruits, and fruits come first. Fruits are perfect for the developing digestive system, and babies' systems, their digestive systems, are still growing and becoming more mature. So we don't want to give them as the first food something like nuts or even nut milk, because it's a more complicated digestion. We would want to start with the ripe fruit.
Okay.
And so something like very ripe banana is a perfect first food, cut into bite-sized pieces, not that pureed baby food. If you give the baby that as the first food, the baby learns how to gulp. The baby doesn't learn how to chew. And we want the baby to learn how to chew. And baby should not eat until ready. Usually either at the end of the first year or even into the second year, children, have an individual schedule on when they're ready to eat.
Okay.
And so some children will eat closer to age 2. My daughter was ready to eat at the end of the first year, and I tried with my son, and he was not ready. I started feeding him into the second year.
Okay.
And so, you have to go through a lot of fruit.
Of course.
So you have all this variety.
They shouldn't eat any kind of nut, or in a small portion, or for example, like quinoa milk, because I heard that quinoa has it's very similar in the composition and amino acids with mother's milk.
Okay. Quinoa is not a grain, as most people think. It's really a seed. I definitely would not recommend it the first year. Mother's milk should really be the main source of all fat and protein the first year. Quinoa is excellent for growing children, and I do recommend quinoa because it's a wonderful protein. And you can sprout quinoa, and you certainly could make a milk out of it, but I wouldn't recommend it in the first 12 months.
But in the transition?
In the transition, it would be fine, but I still would recommend bite-sized pieces of fruit to come first, and to do a variety of fruit 1 week at a time, gradually adding more, and getting baby used to eating, because fruit is also very much similar to mother's milk, which is about 5 to 6% protein. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, believe that animal milk is adequate, but if you look at the different milks of the different species, they vary according to how fast the infant of that species grows. And so a bovine calf grows 4 times faster than a human baby, and that's why cow protein is 20% protein, and human mother's milk is 5 to 6% protein. And so it makes sense. It's really a true indication that cow milk is meant for calves and not for humans.
Of course.
And so bananas are also about 5 to 6% protein, like mother's milk. And so it's a very nice continuation to go to fruit. And then, you know, a lot of people want to get green leafy vegetables in right away. I would say that after fruit, green smoothies, green juices are very nice, and they're digestible.
Just eat the whole day.
Fruit, green smoothies, green juices, getting pretty much everything the baby needs. And when the baby is, you know, well into the 2nd year, you know, if the mother is still nursing, there really isn't any need for nut or seed milks. But if the baby does okay with it, you know, closer to age 2, then, you know, it is diluted. So you could see. But I'm always cautious with nuts and seeds because there's so many allergies to nuts and seeds. I know that there's been some success in certain countries like Germany, where they have used almond milk for women who were not able to breastfeed. But I say most women can breastfeed. So if you do have a breastfeeding problem, don't be so willing to give up breastfeeding. Get a lactation consultant. La Leche League is a big organization all over the world.
In South America as well.
And you can get a breastfeeding consultant to help you if you have low breast milk supply. And I highly recommend a raw living food diet because it makes for a great breast milk supply. My son was already age 3 when we transitioned to raw foods, and I'm telling you, I had so much milk, I could have fed many more children.
Nice. And what do you think is the main mother's fear about the transition?
I think many mothers are concerned about protein. I get a lot of women who come to me and they're scared. They think that we need some animal protein, some eggs, some dairy. I just explained why we would not want to eat dairy. Really makes no sense to eat dairy. And so with protein, there's so many plant sources of high quality protein. The green leafy vegetables are loaded with protein. Spinach by calorie is 49% in protein. The dark lettuces like romaine lettuce are all 34% in protein by calorie. So you can get a lot of protein from greens, from sprouts, but all plant foods have protein. Even bananas are 5% complete protein. Mango has all 8 essential amino acids. We can get our protein needs met just by eating a lot of plant foods and giving them to our children. And mother's milk, if the mother is nursing her baby until the baby wants to wean, the baby will be getting all the fat and the protein, And my children grew beautifully on mother's milk. It was later on, when they weren't on mother's milk anymore, that they began to grow more slowly. And that's when people said, oh my goodness, your children are too small. Just realize that in factory farming, they use growth hormones. So the children, many children of today are growing too fast, and they should be growing more slowly. So I knew that my children were growing more slowly, but they were very, very healthy.
Yeah.
And they later on had their growth spurts when they became adolescents.
Are you 100% raw foodist?
I'm 100% raw. I've been 100% raw for 19 years.
Wow.
I've had many benefits from it, but I also made many, many early mistakes. And I had a talk today at the Woodstock Fruit Festival on how to stay on a healthy track for those people who were beginning a raw food lifestyle. Because when I first started, I was eating way too many nuts and seeds. Sometimes I would eat like 2 cups of nuts a day. And making recipes and not realizing how much nuts I was eating.
I know. Yeah.
And that was damaging. It also made me very fatigued and sluggish. And also there was a point where I was then eating later too much fruit and not enough greens. I know I needed a lot of fruit for the calories that we need, but you can't eat fruit and no greens.
Of course.
We certainly need Hi.
Thank you so much.
So where were we?
The greens.
The greens. So, I mean, the greens, I had cracks on the sides of my mouth for a while, especially in the winter. And when I started to increase the green leafy vegetables, they went away. So before, I was eating fruit all day, and then I would have a big green salad. But then, excuse me, then when I had add green juice and green smoothie, or one or the other, a big one, with a salad as well, that's when I really felt the difference.
Yeah,
and I know the minerals are so important for the bones, for the teeth, and I certainly was not having enough early on.
And what about some people that have had some teeth issues because too much fruit and the acid of the fruit? The acidity of the fruit.
Right.
What happened with these people?
Well, you've got to eat your fruit ripe. And so I think that we tend to eat a lot of unripe fruit. I've seen many people, including people in the raw food movement, eating bananas that are not ripe yet. They still even have green on them. They're acid and they're starchy. You know, you don't want to be eating them. There's fruits that are actually thought of as vegetables, but any fruit that's like a vegetable that has seeds, like red bell pepper, that's really a fruit. Any one that has seeds like that. And the green peppers, those are not ripe.
Yeah, I know that.
So they need to turn red, and then they're ripe. So we want to eat our fruit ripe, or else they become acid forming. And then, you know, if we're eating any animal products in the diet at all, some of these raw foodists who are eating raw animal food, it's still acid forming.
Yeah.
Still acid forming. So, you know, for the planet, for the animals, for our bodies, we really don't want to be eating any animal food. And we've got to be eating enough greens. I can't say more about the greens. Even when I eat my fruit, a lot of times I balance out the sugar by eating my fruit with celery, dark lettuce, or cucumber. Getting more of the green in that way.
What about the sprouts?
Oh, I love sprouts. And sprouts are an excellent form of protein. Sunflower greens are just fantastic, and you're going to get loads of minerals. And you know, there's many experts in the raw food movement who believe that sprouts are the best food, the best. Yeah. So you could start easily doing some sprouting in your own home and do it in the kitchen. And I highly recommend looking for a local farmer who doesn't spray, and where you can get local delicious greens. You can really tell by the taste of the greens, by the way that they look, and foraging for wild edibles. Going into the woods and getting lamb's quarter and dandelion and sorrel and nettles and wow, there's so many. Miner's lettuce. I mean, these
Well, maybe
are
we'll
great.
have an interview with Anne, who is expert in that area, in that field.
Yeah.
And do you think that 80-10-10 is the best way? Do you think it's important to be like very strict in the 80-10-10?
I do believe that we need our calories from fruit. I think there are some people who follow other ways of eating, and I've seen some successful raw fooders following lifestyles that don't have a lot of fruit, but I've also seen some who tend to eat a lot more nuts and are getting too much fat.
Yeah.
And so we really need to be careful of that high fat diet. We can sometimes be eating more fat than people who are eating the mainstream foods.
Yeah.
So we want to really be careful of that, because if we're not getting enough calories to get our energy needs met from fruit, then we may tend to eat otherwise. But I also have seen some people who are doing 80-10-10 who aren't eating enough greens, the green leafy vegetables, and that's when we have started to have troubles with our teeth. And they also eat a lot of dried fruit, and that's not what 80-10-10 is about. It's not about eating a lot of dried fruit. It's about eating fresh food. A lot of the dried fruit, even the ones that say raw, are not always raw.
It's not living food.
Right.
Yeah.
It's dehydrated and it's not fresh.
Yeah.
And some of them are actually cooked, and they're very sticky. And they stick on the teeth. We had problems with our teeth from the dried fruit.
Okay.
So I don't recommend that. And then there's a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of misinformation. So people coming into this world who want to improve their health, you can definitely make leaps and bounds in your health, but you have to understand that there are people who are not informed out there who are giving misinformation. One of them being things like that we don't need to take care of our teeth, that we don't need to practice dental hygiene. Some people are saying we don't need to brush, we don't need to floss. I have a line in my book, Creating Healthy Children, in the dental chapter that says, only floss the teeth you want to keep.
Yeah, good one.
So very important to
Karen,
take care of our teeth.
So nice to meet you and to have you here sharing.
Thank you so much.
People can find your information on superhealthychildren.com.
Yes, my website is superhealthychildren.com, and my YouTube channel is Super Healthy Children. And I also have a free monthly newsletter that has simple raw food recipes and articles. I write articles all the time about different areas for a healthy lifestyle. Some of it is about healthy food, and there's so many aspects to healthy living. It's not only the food. So I also write about exercise and sleep. We need to be getting enough sleep. You know, there's a lot of people who think, oh, I'm raw now, I don't need my sleep. definitely need to get your sleep.
Is someone translating your books to Spanish?
My book is being translated into Russian right now. I would love to have it translated into Spanish.
Well, maybe one of the Raw Academy
That would be
viewers,
wonderful. That would be wonderful. I would love to have it translated into Spanish. Yeah, my husband is Colombian.
Wow.
And but he doesn't really have the time to do it right now.
Yeah. Well, we will find a way to do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.